Every night you die. Every morning you are reborn. This is not poetic exaggeration. This is one of the greatest mysteries of human existence, what we call dreaming. But what if I told you that dreams are not merely random brain activities, but something much deeper? What if dreams are actually gateways to our past lives, and every night we step through these portals? In 75 years, we spend 25,000 nights sleeping, 30,000 hours dreaming. That's more than 3.5 years spent in the dream state. Is all of this just the brain processing waste? Or is something much more fascinating happening to us every night? Today we venture into territory where science meets spirituality, where dream research intertwines with reincarnation experiences. We will hear stories that might shake your perception of reality. Research findings that question everything we thought we knew about dreams. Imagine that every evening, when you close your eyes, you actually embark on time travel. Not to the future, but to the past. Not to a single past, but to countless pasts. To those lives you once lived but forgot. Your dream is not your brain's creativity, but remembrance. Carl Gustav Jung, one of the 20th century's greatest psychologists, was the first to seriously consider this possibility. According to Jung, dreams don't just feed from our personal unconscious, but also from a collective unconscious that contains the shared experiences of all humanity. But what if Jung didn't go far enough? What if this collective unconscious is actually the repository of our own past lives? In the history of dream research, countless cases have emerged that are difficult to explain through conventional methods. Dr. Patricia Garfield, who has been researching dreams for more than 50 years, has documented hundreds of cases where people dreamed of places, time periods, and cultures in detail that they had never encountered in waking life. One of the most startling cases is the story of a 47-year-old engineer who had recurring dreams for years about a medieval monastery. In his dreams, he was a monk, wrote Latin texts, and knew exactly where every room in the monastery was located. When he finally tracked down the place he had seen in his dreams, every detail matched. The monastery existed, was built in the 13th century, and the architecture, liturgy, and daily customs described by the man were historically accurate. Is this an isolated case? Far from it. Dr. Ian Stevenson, who spent decades researching reincarnation memories, encountered multiple cases where children remembered their past lives in dreams before they began speaking about them in waking states. But what exactly happens during dreams? According to modern neurology, during the REM sleep phase, the brain works more intensively than in waking states. The hippocampus, which deals with memories, is extremely active. The temporal lobe, which is the center of our personality, also revs up. It's as if the brain initiates a massive remembering process every night. Dr. Michael Newton, who conducted more than 7,000 hypnotherapy sessions, claimed that part of our dreams are actually soul journeys. According to him, our soul leaves the body every night and visits those places and times where it previously lived. This is not a new idea. Tibetan Buddhism has taught for millennia that conscious dreaming, lucid dreaming, is a state in which we can directly experience other planes of existence. Think about how often you dream of places you've never been, yet move through them comfortably. How often you encounter people in your dreams whom you don't know, yet feel a deep emotional connection to them. Edgar Cayce, often called America's sleeping prophet, claimed during more than 14,000 dream interpretations that 60% of our dreams connect to our past lives. To understand the connection between dreams and reincarnation, it's important to examine what happens at the moment of death. The Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Bardo Thodol, describes in detail those states through which consciousness passes between death and rebirth. These states are strikingly similar to dream states. There is no linearity in time. Thoughts immediately become reality, and consciousness moves freely through the dimensions of space and time. But how is this possible from a scientific perspective? One of quantum physics' strangest phenomena is non-locality, which states that particles maintain instantaneous connection with each other, regardless of the distance between them. If consciousness is indeed a quantum phenomenon, as more and more scientists assume, then it's conceivable that during sleep we access information that exists beyond space and time. According to Dr. Stuart Hameroff and Sir Roger Penrose's quantum theory, consciousness exists in microtubules within neurons. These microtubules function as quantum computers and enable consciousness to connect with the quantum field. During sleep, when the ego is less active, this connection might strengthen. If you've found these thoughts intriguing so far, then definitely subscribe to the channel, because we'll discover countless more mysteries together in the world of dreams and reincarnation. And now let's continue with what might be the most important thing to understand about our dreams. Perhaps you yourself have experienced a dream that seemed too real to be mere fantasy. A dream whose every detail was crystal clear and haunted you for days after waking. These so-called lucid dreams often contain memories from past lives. Dr. Jane Gackenbach, a Canadian psychologist, studied lucid dreams for 25 years and concluded that these dreams are qualitatively different from ordinary dreams. According to EEG studies, during lucid dreams, the brain produces gamma waves, which are characteristic of profound spiritual states. This is the same wave that Tibetan monks produce during meditation. One of the most convincing cases is the story of a young woman we'll call Sarah. From childhood, Sarah had recurring dreams about a Victorian house where she worked as a servant. In her dreams, she knew exactly where every room was, knew every member of the family, and could recall the daily tasks of that era. As an adult, she eventually visited England and found the house she had seen in her dreams. Every detail matched, including a secret passage that even the house's current owners didn't know about. But it's not just places and events that are familiar in our dreams. We often possess skills in our dreams that we don't have in waking states. An average pianist might play Bach's most complex compositions flawlessly in their dreams. A painter might apply techniques in their dreams that they never learned. Dr. Jeffrey Mishlove, who researched paranormal phenomena in the United States, documented hundreds of cases where people spoke languages in their dreams that they didn't know. This phenomenon, called xenoglossia, is particularly common during reincarnation dreams. One of the most interesting aspects of the connection between dreams and reincarnation is how traumas appear. Dr. Brian Weiss, who conducted more than 4,000 past life regression sessions, found that traumas from past lives are often first processed in dreams before emerging as conscious memories. An interesting parallel exists with PTSD research. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, who has researched trauma for decades, showed that traumatic memories are not stored in the brain in the usual way. Instead, they exist as fragments that can suddenly surface in the form of dreams. What if traumas from past lives are stored in consciousness in a similar way? During dreams, we are not just passive observers of our past lives. We often actively participate in them, make decisions, and influence the course of events. This suggests that dreams are a kind of second reality, where we can continue to develop and learn from experiences we previously lived through. Lucid dreaming practitioners consciously control their dreams, and many of them report being able to navigate into their past lives. Dr. Stephen LaBerge, a dream researcher at Stanford University, showed that conscious dreaming can be learned, and that in this state we can take extraordinary inner journeys. Another interesting phenomenon is so-called shared dreams, when two or more people have the same dream. Dr. Linda Magalone has collected more than 300 such cases. In some instances, these dreams related to past lives that the participants had lived together. Understanding the connection between dreams and reincarnation sheds new light on how we process death. If dreams are indeed a small death every night, then dreams practically prepare us for the ultimate transition. According to Tibetan Buddhism, those who dream consciously also navigate more easily through post-death states. Dream symbols also take on new meaning from this perspective. Carl Jung wrote that certain symbols are universal, appearing in every culture. What if these symbols are actually common elements from our past lives? Water, fire, mountains, animals, all these are recurring motifs in our dreams, and perhaps serve as reminders of experiences we had in different forms of existence. Dr. Michael Persinger, a Canadian neuroscientist, showed through his experiments that mystical experiences, including visions of past lives, can be induced by stimulating the temporal lobe. This raises the question, is this brain area naturally stimulated during dreams? The cyclical nature of dreams also connects to reincarnation philosophy. Just as we experience the same dream phases every night, reincarnation might also be a cyclical process in which we learn the same lessons over and over through different lives. One of the most startling discoveries of modern dream research is that during our dreams, we are capable of traveling forward and backward in time. Dr. J.W. Dunn showed through his experiments that in our dreams, we often foresee future events. If this is possible, then why couldn't we also travel backward in time to our previous lives? The healing power of dreams also connects to the reincarnational perspective. Dr. Mark Ian Barish's case is well known. He saw an illness in his dreams that later actually developed, but the dream also showed the method of healing. If we have access to the wisdom of our past lives in our dreams, then this holds enormous healing potential. Children's dreams are particularly interesting from this perspective. According to Dr. Patricia Garfield's research, children's dreams often contain elements that point to past lives. A 3-year-old girl, for example, regularly dreamed that she was an adult woman living in another era. These dreams contained details that the child couldn't have known from anywhere else. The phenomenon of collective dreams also suggests that dreams are more than personal experiences. Entire communities can dream the same dreams, especially during traumatic events. What if these collective dreams are actually memories of our shared past lives? The language of dreams also changes from a reincarnational perspective. While Freud said dreams are the language of repressed desires, the reincarnational view sees them rather as languages of past lives. Every symbol, every character, every location is a piece of that vast mosaic we call our previous existences. If this perspective sheds new light on your dreams, then share this video with others so they too can contemplate this fascinating connection. In the comments, write about what special dreams you've experienced that might have pointed to your past lives. Perhaps the most important practical consequence of understanding the connection between dreams and reincarnation is that it changes our relationship to sleep. Sleep is not a passive state, but an active spiritual practice. Every night we have the opportunity to connect more deeply with our past selves, to learn from our previous mistakes, and to gain wisdom from our past experiences. Dr. Stanislav Grof, who spent decades researching states of consciousness, claimed that part of our dreams are holotropic experiences, states in which consciousness transcends its usual boundaries. In these states, past lives, mythological content, and cosmic knowledge become accessible. Keeping a dream journal becomes an extremely important practice from this perspective. It's not merely a psychological self-awareness tool, but a map of spiritual exploration. Every dream is a puzzle piece in the larger picture that is the totality of our past lives. There is also a close connection between meditation and dreaming. According to Dr. Richard Davidson's research, those who meditate regularly have richer and more conscious dreams. The awareness developed during meditation transfers into dreams as well, enabling more conscious exploration of past lives. Dreams can also carry practical messages from our past lives. An architect might see architectural solutions in their dreams that they knew in a previous life. A doctor might discover healing methods in their dreams that they applied in another culture, in another era. These are not mere fantasies, but accessible knowledge. Relational dreams, in which we relive the relationships of our past lives, help us understand the deeper dynamics of our current relationships. The person with whom we have a difficult relationship might have played an important role in our story in a previous life. Dreams can reveal these connections and help process karmic burdens from the past. The temporal nature of dreams also supports reincarnation theory. In dreams, there is no linear time. Past, present, and future intertwine. This exactly reflects how reincarnation philosophy sees time, not as a straight line, but as a spiral, where every point connects to every other point. The connection between fear and dreams also takes on new meaning. Things we fear without reason might trace back to traumas from our past lives. An inexplicable fear of water might point to a drowning that occurred in a previous life. Dreams can help process these deeply buried traumas. The ancient practice of dream divination also intertwines with the reincarnational worldview. If we have access to the wisdom of our past lives in our dreams, then perhaps the patterns we previously experienced help us understand possible future scenarios as well. The connection between art and dreams is particularly interesting from a reincarnational perspective. Many artists report receiving inspiration in their dreams. Salvador Dalí consciously applied sleep techniques for his paintings. What if this inspiration actually feeds from the artistic experiences of past lives? The healing nature of dreams can manifest not only psychologically, but also physically. If we were healers in our past lives, then we might have access to these abilities in our dreams. This might explain why there are dreams after which we feel better, as if we had gone through a real healing process. The phenomenon of shared dreams suggests that reincarnational connections don't just work on an individual level. People with whom we lived in past lives might be able to create shared dream spaces where we can continue our mutual development and learning. The connection between dreams and nature also takes on deeper meaning. Dreams in which we find ourselves in natural environments might point to those epochs of our past lives when we lived in closer connection with nature. These dreams awaken a kind of nostalgia in us for lost unity. The practice of lucid dreaming is essentially a bridge between past and present. When we dream consciously, we are able to control which aspects of our past lives we explore. This is a tremendous opportunity for personal development and spiritual growth. The cyclical return of dreams also reflects reincarnational cycles. Just as certain dreams return again and again, in reincarnation, certain themes, relationships, and lessons also repeat until we learn them. Cultural dreams, in which we find ourselves in cultures we don't know, can be particularly strong evidence of reincarnation. When we naturally move through an ancient Egyptian or medieval European environment in our dreams, perhaps we are truly at home because we previously lived there. There is a close connection between dreams and the development of consciousness. The more developed our consciousness, the richer and more meaningful our dreams. This suggests that dreams are indeed developmental tools that help us integrate the experiences of our past lives into our current existence. There are striking similarities between near-death experiences and dreams. In both, we transcend the boundaries of time and space, encounter figures from the past, and gain knowledge that exceeds our current life experience. This suggests that dreams are indeed rehearsals for what we will experience after our death. The universal language of dreams is similar in every culture. The symbols of reincarnational dreams are particularly universal. Light, water, nature, spiritual figures appear similarly in every culture. This suggests that these are indeed memories of deep, collective experiences. Finally, perhaps the most important realization is that dreams are not merely nighttime entertainment or the brain's processing of waste. Dreams are gateways to our past selves, teachers who help us understand who we were, who we are, and who we can become. Every night, we have the opportunity to relive the miracle of reincarnation, to die as our current selves and be reborn with deeper consciousness. Dreams are indeed reincarnations in miniature. Every night, we step into another reality where our past selves await us to share their wisdom with us. Every morning, we are reborn a little wiser, a little more complete, a little closer to who we truly are across infinite time. And perhaps right now, as you hear these words, you already know. Tonight, when you dream, you won't merely be sleeping. You'll embark on time travel to the realm of your past selves, where the next lesson awaits you in that infinite school we call life.